Hello, this is Annie, and I'm going to be giving a short presentation on the relationship between schizophrenia and celiac disease. So the link between gluten and schizophrenia has been investigated way back from the 50s and 60s. Basically, a positive correlation was noted with the way that wheat was being eaten and the incidences of schizophrenia in hospital admissions. So when wheat consumption was up, so was schizophrenia, and vice versa. Researchers started putting pieces together, started noticing that people with celiac disease were also schizophrenics, and schizophrenics also had a history of celiac disease when they were children. So they started playing around, giving them gluten-free diets, and they noticed that there was a significant improvement in their schizophrenic symptoms. However, it should be noted that even with all of this, these were all subgroups or subpopulations. 40 years later, we have an increase in celiac disease along with an increase in neurological complications, and they're both seen together, as well as more than half the population with neurological dysfunction, they test positive for anti-gliadin antibodies, which is a biomarker of celiac disease. According to Dr. Fasano, there are 3 ways to diagnose celiac disease that are solid ways to diagnose celiac disease. 2 biomarkers are genetics and antibody testing, and the other one is through intestinal impermeability. 2 of the antibodies biomarkers for celiac disease are also found in people with schizophrenia, the anti-TTG and the AGA antibodies, and that's through the brain-gut axis. Basically, the AGA antibodies, the gliadin, how it works is that it activates cytokine production and increases the expression of pro-inflammatory genes, which spreads to the brain, as well as a TTG6. It's primarily expressed in the brain, which is a biomarker for neuroinflammation, and that explains the relationship to schizophrenia through, again, the brain-gut microbiota axis. So very recently, there was a systematic review done to see the effect of gluten-free diets in people with schizophrenia, basically to see if it was kind of like a go-to therapeutic way to alleviate their symptoms. Out of 9 studies, 6 studies showed that there was improvement in their function and decreased symptoms. But 3 studies show that there was no benefit of a gluten-free diet in people with schizophrenia. And that could possibly be because in that group, they lack the inflammatory response to gluten. Another study looked at the incidences of the people with schizophrenia and who had the antibodies, the AGA, IgG antibodies, and there was only 1/3 of people with schizophrenia with these antibodies, and there were only 3 to 5% of people with schizophrenia who had the TTG antibodies, which is opening doors for other explanations for the etiology and the link to bridge celiac disease and schizophrenia. The other potential antibodies include the anti-GAD antibodies, other forms of tissue transglutamase like the TG6, as well as L-tryptophan and serotonin. So there is still a lot of work to be done in this research arena. Thank you.